Welcome to the Deep Dive podcast, where we refuse to just skim the headlines. In the world of enterprise software, the stakes are too high for fluff. You need to know what's really going on beneath the surface.
Whether you're looking at a complex software implementation, improving your accounting controls, or a new security protocol, you need to understand how things really work when the rubber meets the road. I'm Ryan Caldwell. I'm here to help break down those complex ideas and systems so they actually make sense for your day-to-day.
And I'm Morgan Hale. I'm here to keep us focused on the big picture and ensure we get straight to the actionable insights you need to lead. Together, we'll talk with you like the advisors you'd hire to overhaul your tech stack.
We call this the Deep Dive. We are exploring the tools that power your business, from accounting and real estate to high-stakes security.
So if you're a CEO, a franchise director, CFO, or CTO, and you're looking for thorough analysis, you've found your home.
Let's get into it.
Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're essentially performing an autopsy on an apocalypse that was supposed to happen, but just didn't.
That is a very dramatic way to put it, but you know what? It fits. The setup was absolutely perfect for a total disaster.
It really was. I mean, if you just rewind the tape 18 months, the feeling in the real estate industry was, well, terrifying. You had the commission lawsuits, which you just couldn't get away from. You had interest rates stuck way up in the stratosphere. And just this feeling that the old brokerage model was dead.
It was peak doom and gloom. The expectation wasn't just, things will get tight. It was that margins would compress so much that the average brokerage just couldn't physically keep the lights on.
Exactly. But today, we're looking at this huge stack of data that basically says, not so fast. We are diving into a deep analysis of the actual financial performance of brokerages in 2025.
And the headline is just wild.
The apocalypse got canceled. Or maybe it was replaced by this really quiet but really effective structural revolution.
Structural revolution is the perfect term, because we aren't looking at some market bounce back. This is a business model overhaul.
So to guide us through this, our source material today is all from Account Tech. And I want to pause on that because the source really, really matters here.
It does.
We're not looking at sentiment surveys. This isn't asking brokers, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how panicked are you?
No, and that's a critical distinction. Account Tech provides the accounting software, the Darwin platform, for hundreds and hundreds of brokerages. So what we're looking at today is direct, anonymized, GAAP-compliant data.
And just so we're all on the same page, GAAP is generally accepted accounting principle. It's the real deal.
It's the real deal. This is the general ledger, cold, hard cash reality. The money didn't move. It's not in this report. There's no feeling here. It's just math.
Which is why I love this data set so much. It just cuts through all the PR spin. So our mission today is to figure out how an industry that was mathematically predicted to collapse somehow stabilized.
And we're going to uncover what really looks like a new playbook for profitability. A playbook that prioritizes, well, something the industry has historically ignored.
Efficiency over growth.
Exactly.
Okay, let's start with the scare, the prediction. Because Account Tech didn't just look back, they ran a stress test before the year started based on the NAR settlement. What were we staring down the barrel of?
It was a complete nightmare scenario for any business owner. They modeled what would happen if commissions just compressed. They found that if rates dropped to just 2%, and this is key, the brokerage didn't change its spending, 79% of them would become unprofitable.
79%. That's not a recession. That's an extinction event.
It is. And even if you took a slightly more moderate view, like, okay, maybe rates only dropped to 2.5%.
Right.
Even then, 60% of brokerages would be in the red.
Now, usually we assume the little guys get crushed first, right? The mom and pop shops without the big cash reserves.
Surprisingly, no. The data actually showed the opposite. The larger companies, firms with, say, 100 to 5,000 agents, they were the most at risk.
Wait, really?
Yeah. In that 2% commission scenario, a staggering 88% of those large firms were projected to be unprofitable.
But why? You'd think scale would be your safety net. Big ships survive the storm.
Not if the ship is full of holes. In real estate, scale often just means overhead. Bigger offices, more staff, more tech layers, huge recruiting budgets. It's a big ship, but it takes forever to turn.
Okay.
Account Tech even did the break-even math. To survive a drop to a 2% commission, a typical 100-agent firm would need to cut its overhead by $290,800 a year.
Wow, almost 300 grand. That's not just, cutting the coffee budget.
No, that's roughly $2,900 per agent. If you're a broker who already thinks they're running a tight ship, finding $300,000 of fat is a nightmare. It means people, offices, big contracts.
So that was the cliff, the mathematical inevitability, but now we have the actual 2025 review. So did they fall off?
They did not. And this is the twist. Profitability didn't just stabilize, it actually improved.
Improved? How is that even possible? I don't remember any headlines about a housing boom in 2025. The market was basically flat.
It was. You're right. Sales volume was flat. Agent counts actually went down. So they sold the same amount of real estate, maybe a little less, but the companies themselves made more money.
Okay, you have to walk me through the math on that. How do you sell less but make more?
It all comes down to a concept that Account Tech calls the efficiency wedge.
The efficiency wedge. Okay, sounds cool. Break that down for me.
Okay, picture a graph with two lines. The top line is your gross profit margin. That's the money the company keeps after paying the agent, the company dollar.
Got it.
In 2025, that top line, that margin, it actually fell. It dropped from about 19% to 18%.
So agents were keeping a bigger slice of the pie.
Correct. The company dollar got smaller, which is normally a disaster. But, and here's the wedge, while that top line was shrinking, brokerages cut their operating expenses even faster.
Oh, I see.
OPEX dropped from over 17.5% of income down to about 16.4%.
So they were losing a little bit on the top line, but they were saving way, way more on the bottom.
Precisely. They created this wedge of profit between those two lines by cutting costs more aggressively than their margins were shrinking. It wasn't about growth. It was about discipline, extreme discipline.
This feels like such a huge cultural shift. For decades, the mantra was just recruit, 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 growth at all costs.
Growth covers a multitude of sins. That was the old way. Grow fast enough, and nobody notices you're wasting money.
And now the mantra is efficiency at all costs.
It is. And that gets us to the new playbook. There are really two main strategies that defined the winners last year. And the first one is going to sound completely backwards to anyone who's been in this business a long time.
This is the addition by subtraction strategy, right?
Yes.
So the old logic is you fight to keep every agent, even the ones who don't sell much. Maybe they'll sell one house. It's found money.
Right. But the 2025 data just flips that on its head. The winning brokerages aggressively removed their non-producing agents.
They actually fired them.
Fired them, off-boarded them, politely encouraged them to go elsewhere. They realized these agents aren't free. They cost you money, tech fees, insurance, management time.
So if you have 100 agents, but 20 produce nothing, those 20 are just a drain on the resources for the other 80.
Exactly. They cut the dead weight. And the impact on the bottom line was, well, it was incredible.
So what happened?
EBITDA per agent skyrocketed. It was up 85% year over year in October of 2025.
85%. That is huge. But wait, play devil's advocate. If I cut 20% of my agents, don't I lose potential sales? Don't I lose market share?
That's the fear that keeps brokers paralyzed. But let's look at the case study in the report. There was one firm that cut its roster from 331 agents down to 276. That's a 16% cut.
Okay, that's a serious curve.
A very serious purge.
Yeah.
But their total income didn't drop. It grew. It went from $10.1 million to $13.1 million.
Wait. They have fewer people, but they made $3 million more?
Yeah. Yes. And the income per agent surged 55%. It went from around $30,000 to over $47,000.
That is just wild. How is it just that management can focus on the producers?
It's resource allocation. When you stop wasting time and money on the zeros, you can pour all those resources into your heroes. Better support, better leads, more attention. It's a classic quality over quantity play.
Zeros to heroes. I like that. But it takes guts to do that, to look at your roster and say, I'm making us smaller today so we can be richer tomorrow.
It takes confidence in your data. You have to know who is costing you money.
So that's strategy 1. Get smaller to get richer. What's strategy 2?
Strategy 2 is all about expense management over revenue growth. We talked about the efficiency wedge, but this is what the report calls the profit paradox.
The profit paradox. Okay, this is where less is more.
Right, it's exactly where less is more. The study found that one-third of the companies that improved their margins did so even though their revenue decreased.
So they didn't sell more. They didn't grab market share. They actually got smaller.
But they made more profit because they just slashed spending so aggressively.
They tightened the belt until it turned into a diamond.
Yeah, something like that. There's this one anonymized case study, a turnaround king firm. In 2021, this place was a disaster. They had a negative 25% EBITDA margin.
Ouch. So for every dollar they brought in, they were losing a quarter, just bleeding out.
Dying.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2025, they posted a positive 21.6% margin.
From minus 25 to plus 21. That's a 46-point swing. How on earth did they do that without some kind of sales miracle?
They took a chainsaw to their non-wage operating expenses. This is your rent, tech, marketing, everything but payroll. They got that number down to just under 5% of their income.
5%.
Less than 5. To
Yeah.
put that in context, the industry average is somewhere around 10 to 15%. So they're running at half the overhead of their competition.
That's incredibly lean. That means closing offices, renegotiating every single contract, automating everything they could.
All of it. The lesson is you have to stop trying to outsell your spending problem. You cannot recruit your way out of a bad P&L. You fix the spending first.
Because you can't control the market, you can't control rates. But you can control your own checkbook.
That's it.
Okay, but this brings up a really important point. We've been saying the industry recovered. But if you dig into the report, using the word average seems, well, kind of dangerous.
No, you're right. It is. This is where the data gets stark. There isn't one real estate market anymore. Financially, there are two.
The haves and the have-nots.
Essentially. In May of 2025, the profitable firms were hitting margins around 6%. Healthy businesses, the unprofitable firms, they were digging holes at negative 5%.
That is an 11-point spread. That's the difference between buying a boat and filing for bankruptcy.
It is. But here's the interesting part about this so-called recovery. The main thing that drove the overall industry stats up wasn't the winners winning more, it was the losers losing less.
The losers losing less. That's not much of a rallying cry, is it? Join us, we lose money slower than we used to.
That group of unprofitable firms, they reduced their median loss from about minus 1.9% to minus 1.4%. They're stopping the bleeding. Slow.
No, what separates them, the winners from the losers? Is it just luck? Better markets?
It's math, pure and simple. Account Tech identified what they call the mathematical danger zone, the 80-15 rule.
The 80-15 rule. Okay, lay it on me. How do I guarantee I go out of business?
All right, so picture a dollar bill coming into the brokerage. Rule number one for failure is, if your cost of sales, mostly your agent splits, is more than 80%.
So I give 80 cents of my dollar to the agent. I'm left with 20 cents.
Right, that 20 cents is your company dollar. Now, part two of the rule. If your non-wage operating expenses are more than 15%.
So out of my 20 cents, I then spend 15 on rent and software and everything else.
But you've got 5 cents left. But here's the kicker. You haven't paid your staff yet. The manager, the admin, you haven't paid yourself yet.
Oh, and 5 cents is not going to cover payroll?
Not even close. You are mathematically doomed. There's a case study of a firm that did exactly this. They paid agents 79.24% right on the edge, but they were spending 31.9% on non-wage expenses.
Wait, hold on. They had 20 cents left over, but they spent 32 cents on operations.
Yes. They were spending nearly 50 cents on the dollar to run the company while only keeping 20 cents of gross profit.
I mean, I'm not an accountant, but that is just catastrophic. Why would anyone do that?
It resulted in a negative 28.8% EBITDA loss. The trap is, the broker thinks, if I just recruit 50 more agents, the volume will fix it. They think scale solves the ratio.
That's the growth trap again. But with a margin like that, growth just makes you go broke faster. You have to fix the 80 or fix the 15.
Exactly. Preferably both.
This really shows why good data is so important, which I guess brings us to the last part of the report, the importance of good data.
Yes. There's a whole section on why averages lie. And for anyone listening who runs a business, this part is just critical.
So Account Tech found some pretty crazy outliers in the data.
They did. They call them edge cases. And I want to clarify something here. Every month, when Account Tech produces their index numbers, or when they create these quarterly or annual reviews, they actually use their knowledge of their customers to make sure the studies only include companies they know have good accounting practices.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just because someone's using Account Tech, that doesn't mean they know what they're doing.
Right, but that isn't enough. There might be totally legitimate reasons why a CFO has some crazy numbers in their financials. Account Tech isn't going to question their work.
Because you said before, they've already filtered the data to only include companies that know what they're doing.
Right. But when they release their results, they always filter out the edge cases from the result set. So the indexes have accurate data.
So these edge cases that they highlighted, how out there are they?
For example, one firm showed a negative 322% margin.
Negative 300%. So for every dollar they made, they spent 4.
It's almost certainly a data entry error. Someone added an extra zero somewhere. But if you leave that in your average, it just warps everything.
And what about on the other end?
There was a firm with an 88% profit margin.
88%. What are they selling, magic beans?
Laughs. Probably a totally different business model. A referral-only company, a holding company, something. But not a traditional brokerage.
So if I'm a CEO looking at a report that includes Mr. negative 300% and Mrs. positive 88%, the average is completely meaningless to me.
It's worse than meaningless. It's misleading. When they included those outliers, the average profitable EBITDA looked like 7.26%. But when they cleaned the data, the real achievable benchmark was 4.10%.
That is a huge difference if you're setting goals.
It's the difference between good and bad decisions. If a CEO thinks the competition is making 7%, they might make rash cuts to try and catch up. But if they know that 4.1% is actually top-tier performance, they can stay the course. Bad benchmarks lead to bad decisions.
You need to know what good actually looks like.
You do.
Okay, let's zoom out. The industry survived 2025. It didn't implode, but it survived by fundamentally changing its DNA.
It did. The era of growth at all costs is officially over. We are now in the era of the efficiency wedge.
And it seems like success is now just defined by a simple ratio. Your operating costs versus your company dollar. It's not about how big your sign is. It's about how lean your back office is.
And that leads to a really fascinating question for the future.
I was just thinking that. Here's the provocative thought I want to leave everyone with. These firms, the ones who survived and hit that 4 or 5% margin, they did it in a down market. They did it by stripping the ship down to the bare hull.
They built a machine that runs on almost no fuel.
Right. So what happens when the market cycles back up? What happens when rates drop and inventory unlocks and sales volume jumps 20%?
That's the springboard. If they keep their expenses flat, and why wouldn't they? And revenue jumps 20%, that profit doesn't just go up a little. It goes almost entirely to the bottom line.
Their margins could explode. 10%, 12%, maybe even higher.
Are we looking at a future where these lean firms become the most profitable empires the industry has ever seen?
I think we might be. The discipline they learned in the famine is going to make them absolute kings in the feast.
It's something to chew on.
For sure. If you're running a business, stop asking if you're big enough. Start asking if you're lean enough. Because 2025 proved lean is how you survive, and it might just be the best way to thrive.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Great stuff.
Check your overhead, check your splits, and we'll catch you on the next one.
That's our show for today. Like we do every year, we're going to do a series of these kind of shows, looking at the numbers from 2025. Today, we were digging deep into the EBITDA numbers just released by Account Tech. Join us next time for another deep dive into an interesting, timely, or just plain complex topic in the world of enterprise software.
See you next time on The Deep Dive.
Brace yourself as the beat hits ya. Dip, trip, fantasia. Feel the beat drop, jazz and hip hop, dripping in your dome makes its own and bop. Funk infusion, a fly illusion, keeps you coasting on the rhythm you're cruising. Up, down, round and round, rhymes profound, but nevertheless you got to get down. Fantasy freak through the beat so unique, you move your feet and sweat from the heat. Back to the fact, I'm the Mac and I know that. The way I kick the rhyme, someone call me a poet. Form steady flowing, growing, showing sights and sound. Caught in the groove, invitation.